Hey, welcome back. Good to see you, man. Today we're going to be talking about 7 Wrath of the Lich King classic tips that could potentially save you a lot of time and gold. Now, tip number 1, mount costs and level requirements are going to be reduced in Wrath. As of Wrath of the Lich King patch 3.2.0, which came out in 2009, there are some pretty cool mount changes. Apprentice riding skill can be learned at level 20 for 4 gold. This is a huge discount from what it used to be. You also are going to get mail sent to you when you turn level 20 to remind you that you can actually go learn riding. You know, previously you just kind of found out eventually. Also, journeyman riding, which is level 150 skill, can now be learned at level 40. This is epic riding, right? Ground epic riding for 50 gold. Epic riding for 50 gold. Crazy, right? The mail, again, is going to be sent to you once you're level 40, letting you know that you can ride. So you can save yourself hundreds, literally hundreds of gold just from like vanilla mount, like regular 60% speed and 100% speed discounts. Also, it's worth noting that there were also reduced expert riding skill price. So this is when you have your regular flying mount. This price was reduced to 250 gold. So again, you've got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gold of savings here. This happened in patch 3.2.2, where the riding skill was reduced. The expert riding skill was reduced to 250. So hundreds and hundreds of gold to be saved here. And on top of it, the faction discounts. So in TBC, there were some faction discounts, right? It was Honor Hold and Thrallmar in order to get a discounted epic flying mount, or just any flying mount right from them. And they've changed this in the same 3.2.2 patch to be Stormwind and Orgrimmar respectively. So if you go to Thrallmar and you want to buy a mount, if you're exalted with Orgrimmar, you're going to get a massive discount. And this was mainly done because newly level 60 characters go and maybe want to buy a flying mount or something. They're not going to have any Honor Hold or Thrallmar reputation. They're probably going to have that Stormwind and Orgrimmar faction reputation instead. So if you're exalted with Stormwind or Orgrimmar, if you're Hoarder Alliance, and you go to buy an epic flying mount, you can get it for 4,000 gold in Wrath of the Lich King instead of 5,000. So another massive discount. So I mean, you add up all the savings, probably almost like 2,000 gold savings if you just wait for Wrath of the Lich King and buy your mounts then. So if you're leveling an alt, maybe you have a new max level character, don't buy expert riding, don't buy, you know, any flying or epic flying, just wait for Wrath of the Lich King. It's going to save you a bunch of gold to do it that way. All right, moving on to number 2 tip to save time and gold in Wrath, we have the vendor mount. There's only one vendor mount in Wrath of the Lich King, and that is the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. This is the first ever vendor mount introduced in World of Warcraft. This is a beast of a mount. The vendors literally supply you with reagents. You can repair. It's super handy, and it'll save you so much time not having to go back to town to vendor your grays and buy reagents, whether that's food or arrows or bullets or Ankhs of Reincarnation. Get some candles, get symbols of divinity, whatever you need for your character, right? Now, it is worth noting, you might be wondering, what? I could have sworn there were more than just the Traveler's Mammoth for 20,000 gold. That's true, they are, but they do not come with vendor mounts. The Sons of Hodir Exalted Mammoth does have 2 passenger slots, but there are not vendors on that mount. And the Grand Black War Mammoth that you get from Vault of Archivon, 1 to 2% drop chance, that does not have vendors on it either, although it does have 2 like slots for passengers, but it does not have vendors. So the only mount that actually has vendors is the Traveler's Mammoth for 20,000 gold. And that's probably why it's selling for 20,000 gold, is because it's got the vendors, and that's so awesome. So that's going to save you a ton of time. It's going to save you gold ultimately. Maybe you're grinding, you know, grays. I don't know. But the vendor mount is super awesome, and it's really kind of like a status symbol. Like, you have 20,000 gold, you were able to drop on a freaking vendor mount. Really, really cool. I remember I was just so poor. I go around, anyone I see with that mount, I'm like, come back, I need a vendor. It's hilarious. I'm sure you've done the same thing. It's awesome. All right, coming in at number 3, we have summoning stones. There were some really big summoning stone changes in Wrath and in TBC, but basically forget everything you remember about TBC because it's all changed. There really aren't any level requirements for summoning stones in Wrath. And this is important because, well, I mean, now you know, like, you can summon anyone of any level to any summoning stone, except they have to be above level 15. This can save you time and frustration. If you're level 14 and you're like, hey, summon me, so that I can go do, I don't know, Ragefire Chasm. Well, can't summon you, sorry. And it's actually interesting because you had to be level 15 if you wanted to do RDF, Random Dungeon Finder, or whatever dungeon finder. Level 15 was the minimum, so it was actually perfectly aligned, like the summoning stones and RDF. And because there's no RDF in WoW Classic, you will be using summoning stones much more frequently. So it's good to know the level requirements are nixed. I was thinking like for boosting it could be helpful, right? But boosting is pretty much ruined, gone. Once Wrath of the Lich King pre-patch hits, they're going to implement like the XP cut that we saw in Season of Mastery. We're also going to see mobs can't really be chain snared like they were. That happens with boosting a lot. So boosting is dead come Wrath. All right, number 4. This one is straightforward, but I want to give you some details. Number 4 is Heirloom gear. This will save you a ton of time because it's going to make you level your characters faster. It's arguably one of the biggest changes to the leveling experience in Wrath of the Lich King. It's gear that gets better as you level. It grants increased experience from mobs and quests, pretty much all sources. And it's a game changer because it's going to encourage everyone to make more alts, more characters, and it's going to completely change your leveling experience because you're not replacing this gear ever really until you're max level. Now you get these by buying them from vendors in Dalaran and also Wintergrasp. The ones in Dalaran you purchase with emblems of heroism. You get emblems of heroism from doing heroics and 10-man raids, not to be confused with emblems of valor, which drop from 25-man raids. There's also emblems of triumph, emblems of frost, and emblems of conquest. Now, as content patches were released in Wrath of the Lich King, emblems kind of evolved along with it. So it does get a little bit confusing. Now, the other place I did mention was Wintergrasp, where you can buy heirlooms from. You can buy these using a currency called Stone Keeper's Shards, which you attain from doing Wintergrasp quests. Like, there's a quest called Victory in Wintergrasp. Just go and win a match of Wintergrasp. Whether that's like defending or attacking, just win the battle, and you get like 10 Stone Keeper's Shards. There's quests like Toppling the Towers, which involves destroying, you guessed it, towers in Wintergrasp. So there's plenty of quests in Wintergrasp where you can start getting those Stonekeeper shards. And the Wintergrasp heirloom vendor is actually the only vendor to sell the trinket heirloom, which you might want to get if you're on one of those very rare PvP servers where it's actually balanced and you actually see the opposing faction while you're leveling. I've never heard of such a thing. But anyways, there's also one other heirloom that many people probably overlook, and you actually need to have your fishing skill pretty high level for this because you have to win the Kaluak Fishing Derby. Now, this happens each Saturday. It's very similar to the Stranglethorn Fishing Extravaganza, which happens each Sunday. For this one, the Kaluak Fishing Derby, you need to catch a black tip shark. This is super rare. You could fish like all day and you wouldn't find it. Any body of water can have it in Northrend, but when you get it, the reward for turning it in first is this amazing Dread Pirate ring, which is a heirloom ring. Very, very awesome to get. On a mega server, you can bet this will be super tough to get because how many people will be probably participating in it. But you'll probably eventually get it as time goes on. But very, very cool. There's tons of heirlooms to get, tons of weapons, trinkets, armor. It's awesome. So heirlooms, very cool addition. Will save you a bunch of time while you're leveling. All right, coming in at number 5, we have Moley, the portable mailbox for engineers. But anyone can use it once it is placed. Now, this is a huge time saver if you're out in the wilderness farming. You can easily mail all the stuff you farm to a bank alt and then keep farming. Save you a bunch of time from going back to town. Now, combine this with that vendor mount we were talking about, and you literally don't need to go back to town. You can just vendor the grays, mail the white items, the Eternals, any other item you've been farming, just mail it to your bank alt. It's amazing. Also, if you're an engineer, you should really take advantage of the Wormhole generator, Northrend. You can get around super quickly to where you want because when you use it, you actually get a list of options of places you want to go, right? And so you can save a lot of time getting around. Now, some of those options are Brian Tundra, which will actually teleport you super high above the lake in Brian Tundra, which you will survive the fall from. If you choose Howling Fjord, you'll end up on a ledge on top of Utgard Keep. You'll either need a flying mount with cold weather flying or a parachute to get down from there. But also, if you like want to go to Utgard Keep, it's good to know anytime you choose Howling Fjord, you're basically using your wormhole generator to teleport yourself to Utgard Keep. So keep that in mind. If you're like, oh, I'm an engineer, I know I'm going to be farming Utgard Keep Heroic because I want that blue proto drake. Dude, you got the wormhole generator, which you might as well just rename to the Utgard Keep Hearthstone. So pretty cool tip there. If you choose Sholazar Basin, you're going to land on a ledge on one of the pillars. You'll need flying or a parachute to get down. Could also be good to just get to Sholazar because that's a super popular farm spot for like engineers, miners, herbalists. Like it's a great farm spot, even if you're like skinning or just gathering crystallized water and earth or air. Like it's a great farm spot. So Sholazar is a place you want to get to frequently. If you choose Ice Crown, you'll land on a mountainside. You can get down safely. You might take some falling damage, but most importantly, in my opinion, is you can choose the Storm Peaks. This one lands you right above the meeting stone for Ulduar. Now, I think everyone will probably be doing Ulduar, so come phase 2, if you like to raid, this is a super easy way to get to Ulduar, basically like an Ulduar Hearthstone, if you want it to be. So this wormhole generator is fantastic. Highly recommend if you're an engineer, get this, use it to get around Northrend super quick, save you a bunch of time. Now, I should note that there's also the underground option. This will teleport you to a chamber below the Horde section of Dalaran, and there's actually a vendor sitting there called K Tugi, and she sells 3 limited stock engineering items: the schematic Arcanite Dragonling, Mithril Mechanical Dragonling, and Mechanical Dragonling. It's kind of cool, but nothing crazy. You'll definitely want to have a Hearthstone ready or a summon because you are stuck down there if you don't have either of those up, by the way. So keep that in mind when you choose that option. All right, number 6, we have profession linking. Now, this is pretty straightforward, but honestly, it is a time saver. You can finally let everyone know what you're able to make quickly and easily by giving a clickable link that allows anyone who clicks it to see exactly what your trade skill is able to do as if they opened it. It's a great quality of life change for everyone. Instead of having to list out all the enchants, your gems you can cut, you can just link your profession for people. It's really awesome change and helps a lot of players who want to make some gold from their profession be able to, just post a link and that's it. It's really cool. All right, number 7. Enchanting Vellums. Now, these are very, very helpful for both the enchanters and people who need enchants. And I would say enchanters can really rejoice now because previously they were just spamming, all the enchants that they have into trade chat. But now you can just list them on the auction house and you have a way to make gold with your profession while you're not actually, enchanting stuff. And I think this also saves players time with getting their gear enchanted because now they don't have to be like looking for enchanter for berserking or whatever you might be looking for. So next time, you win your best in slot item, you won't need to spam trade chat looking for an enchanter. You can just go to the auction house, type in your enchant, buy a scroll with your enchantment on it, and boom, you're done. It's pretty nifty. Now, if you like this video, you might like this video where I asked the question and answer it: is World of Warcraft still casual friendly? I think it's an awesome video that dives into some of the problems that Blizzard has been trying to solve. Check it out, and I'll see you there. Take care.